Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to put two popular cartridges head to head versus each other. The 7mm-08 Remington versus the 6.5 Creedmoor. We're going to look a little bit about its history, but mostly focus on the ballistics, which one is a better big game cartridge, and which one does better at long range target shooting. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's first start with the 7mm-08 Remington. This cartridge was introduced by Remington in 1980. The parent case is the 308 Winchester. Now, when the 308 Winchester came out in 1952, it didn't take long for wildcatters to basically take the 308 case and neck it down to 7mm. So this cartridge has been around a bit longer than 1980, but again, it was officially introduced as a factory cartridge and in a factory rifle in 1980. Now, in today's market, this is probably the most popular 7mm in America. I would say it's probably become a little bit more popular than the 7mm Remington Magnum. And it's just a darn good cartridge. What makes it so good? Well, you're going to have relatively low recoil. It's lower than a 308, a little bit more than a 6.5 Creedmoor. And it's going to be a flatter shooter than a 308 Winchester. And since, shooting the same weight bullets, the 7mm is going to have better BCs. Let's just look at the loadings you can get with the 7mm. Let me move the 7mm. A lot of people are shooting the 140 grain bullets, and you can hand load that to over 2,900 feet per second. So almost mid 2,900. I think a bullet that works really well with the 7mm-08 is the 150 grain. And that's what I'm going to be using today in this comparison, is this AccuBond long range with a BC of 0.546. And when you hand load it, you can get this going over 2,800 feet per second. I mean, if you really stuff the case, you can get over 2,850. One nice thing about 7mm-08 is you can shoot even bigger bullets. So you can shoot 160 grain, 168, and if you're feeling really gumptious, you can shoot the 175 grain. However, as you can see, it's going a bit slow at 2,600 feet per second. But as you can see, this is why it's so popular. Mild recoil. It's a versatile cartridge for its size, and you get higher BC bullets than the 30 caliber. In 2008, Hornady released the 6.5 Creedmoor, and the initial purpose for this cartridge was to provide a very good 1,000-yard target cartridge, and they did just that. However, it has leaked into the hunting world, and it's used by thousands, if not millions, of hunters around the world. So let's see what makes it so good. There are a few reasons why I think the 6.5 Creedmoor really took off straight from the beginning. The first one was it came in a faster twist rate barrel. The 260 Remington had come out a few years before this, and it's actually faster and a little bit more powerful, but the Creedmoor was specifically purpose built to shoot these long, high BC bullets, and so that means better downrange performance. And so that's one of the reasons I think the 6.5 Creedmoor really succeeded right off the bat. The other reason would be that it's one of the most efficient cartridges and has very little recoil. The recoil is hardly anything, so that makes it really easy to use as a target cartridge. That you can shoot and get back right on target almost immediately, because the recoil is, well, almost nothing. Let's just go ahead and look at the performance though. I first want to look at the 129, 130 grain. I'm going to be using the 129 grain AccuBond long range. That's what I'm going to put up against the 7mm-08, and it is going over 2,900 feet per second. So not bad. What most people are shooting with the Creedmoor is a 140 grain class bullet, and it's adequate enough, At max, you're going to be getting over 2,700 feet per second. So it's all right. Now, before I pull out the ballistic chart to see how they compare against each other, I just want to look at the case sizes, the differences. Well, the case head is basically the exact same. The case diameter is almost the exact same. The real big difference is that the 6.5 Creedmoor is a little bit shorter, and it has a steeper shoulder angle, and so they can seat the bullet a lot farther out than a 7mm-08. But technically the 7mm-08 does have a little bit more powder capacity, and so it does make it a little bit more powerful of a cartridge. Looking at the 7mm-08 Remington with a 150 grain AccuBond long range with a very respectable BC of .546, which is a G1 BC. You know, out of the muzzle, when you hand load this near the top, and you're going to get 28, 25 feet per second. You could probably get a little more, but we're just going to do 28, 25. Energy at the muzzles, 2,659 foot-pounds. Recoil, again, this is a very moderate recoiling cartridge. 14 foot-pounds of recoil in a 9-pound rifle. So let's just take this out to conventional hunting distances. So out to 400 yards, almost going 2,200 feet per second. Energy, basically 1,600 foot-pounds. And then the drop. You know, it's not bad, not great either, but at 400 yards, 27.8 inches of drop. Now this cartridge, darn good deer antelope cartridge. I think you're pushing it for elk. Obviously people have taken it with elk. But I think your distance is pretty limited with the 7mm-08 with elk. Onto the 6.5 Creedmoor. We're using a 129 grain AccuBond long range with a BC of .530. You're probably wondering why I'm not using like a 142 grain AccuBond long range or a 143 grain ELDX. I want to make this comparison as about as fair as possible. And when you compare cartridges with different calibers, you want to compare them with similar BC, not similar weight. So you can hand load this one a little over 2,900 feet per second. And then the energy, over 2,400 foot-pounds, in fact, 2,451. Recoil, just a little bit less. You're shooting a smaller diameter bullet, and it does have a little bit less case capacity. It's also with a 9-pound gun. Let's just take this out to 400 yards as well. And it's going a little bit faster than the 7mm-08, about 50 feet per second faster. But your energy is about 150 foot-pounds less. Also notable is it's about an inch less drop than the 7mm-08. So I think the 6.5 Creedmoor is a great deer and antelope cartridge as well. I do not think it is a very good elk cartridge. A lot of people have taken elk with it, so it is what it is. Which one would I pick as a hunting cartridge? Well, I kind of have to go with a 7mm-08. I think it's a bit more versatile than the 6.5 Creedmoor. Again, you're shooting bullets from 120 grain all the way up to 175, while the 6.5 Creedmoor is shooting bullets like 100 up to 150, maybe 160. So I think the 7mm-08 is a little more versatile. The 7mm-08 is also a bit more powerful, just a little bit more. And it's better suited for big game hunting. Now with that being said, the 6.5 Creedmoor is a better long distance target shooter. But they're actually pretty close. But you know, there's a lot more people shooting 6.5 Creedmoor for target shooting than there are 7mm-08, and there's a reason. You're just getting these high BC bullets going a little bit faster because you'd have to bump your bullet up to like 160 plus grain to match the 6.5 Creedmoor's BC in the 140 grain. And the 7mm-08 just will be shooting those bullets a bit slower than what the 6.5 Creedmoor can shoot the 140 grain bullet. Can't go wrong with either of these cartridges. I think you're really pushing it as elk cartridges, but if I had to pick between the two, the 7mm-08 would be the one I would pick. But again, these are not my first choice. Let me know in the comments below which one you would rather have as a hunting cartridge. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day.